Good morning, friend. Welcome back. If you are new here, I am so grateful that my information has found you and bumped into you. Today's conversation, desires. Whose desires are you aligning to? First, if you don't mind, clicking the subscribe button, getting those notifications, giving a thumbs up if you appreciate this information. Today's video is going to twist your mind a little bit, I think. And that's good. We need that to happen. I'm probably going to throw in a lot of information here. So if your attention span is really low right now, you might need to watch this in little bits and pieces, or you might not need to watch it at all. But today, the reason I want to speak about desires is how important the evolutionary consciousness field that is providing us with the instructions on how to come back to ourselves is presenting itself. So my name is Leann Wolff. I am a BG5 and human design professional. I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm an incessant researcher, and I am here to be a contagion and a conveyor for humanity and our ability to drop into our own inner truth. Come to self-mastery. So I get to help men and women all over the world walk through the pain and realize the pleasure of their own direction. And I inspire them to let go of those old patterns so that they can truly live a life that is of self-mastery. All right, let's get into today's information. I'm talking about desires today because I'm going to share my screen. I want you to walk through this with me so that you can understand this. So first, I'm going to start with a PowerPoint presentation that I created for you. And it is about the 41st gate or trait. So in order for us to move into the self-mastery movement, it's important to understand the concept of these gates, the encryption of these gates, but yet then it's the how. And that's where, the self-mastery movement and my programs and my coaching allows you to move into the how. I'm giving you lots of what. It's the how that I'm going to provide in those programs. So the 41st gate is all about desires, it's fantasy, and it's hunger, down here in the root center. The root center, of course, is what? Fuel and pressure. There's a fuel here or there's a pressure, depending on defined or undefined. Mine's defined. I provide a fuel. And then you, if you have it undefined, then get to decide, is that pressure correct for me or not? That's the whole discernment process. That's what human design is teaching you. That's what the BG5 Business Institute teaches you. Discernment. Is this correct for me or not? Okay. So the 41st gate, it's also our start codon. And I'm coming here, I'm going to show you the evolutionary process here so that you can grasp the massive depth of this. So the 41st gate is in the quarter of mutation. Don't forget that as we walk forward. So the 41st gate says the limitation of resources which maximizes development of potential. Okay. So it's the gate of contraction and decrease. The 41st gate is asking you, can you contract down back into your own frequency so that you can then maximize development of potential? Because on the other hand, what happens is there's a lack of limitation. Having it all actually minimizes progress. Okay, minimizes progress. So the 41 up to the 30, over to the 36, up to the 35 in the throat. This is the human experiential way. Okay, this is the human experiential way. On this planet, we have been conditioned to believe that our desires are to be a collective desire. Now I'm going to twist your brain here a little bit. This is in a collective circuitry. This is in a collective circuitry. Okay? But the desires to move up to progress are not about the collective desires. And we're going to walk through that as I break down each one of the lines for you. So there's a fantasy that tries to create a structural program to get what you want. Now, there is, over here, there is no structure. This is experimentation. Experimentation doesn't have, or experience, sorry, this is experience, experiential. Experiential does not have a structure. Over here on this side, when we're looking towards the splenic center, yeah, that's experiment. That's testing a pattern. That's testing scientifically, walking through theories and then testing it. So there is a structure here. There is a pattern. That's why logic is still, you know, in our duality. So we have this structure and then we have the experimental part of it. So no matter how many times you have scientists talking about different aspects, and right now our world is inundated with scientific information, okay? And it's for you to discern what is correct for you and what is not correct for you, okay? Now, in saying that, no matter how much scientific data there is, comprehend something. We're all unique. Then the individual aspect drops in here and we experience through our uniqueness. So then logic is basically thrown out the door. That one, it can twist you a little bit. So 41 is a part of the unexpected, fantasy, and the alpha. So there is no structure on this side of the body graph. There's no structure. Experience, experiential. So unexpected, of course, experience is unexpected. That's why there's nervousness involved on this side. To say, hey, this is totally new to me. This experience is totally new to me. And then there's just this little bit of nervousness. And because we don't know, we have no idea. The unexpected is out there. We're not designed to figure it all out. We are designed to live in the unknown and come to a place of acceptance that, this is, you know, the unexpected may or may not happen. Fantasy, you know, we dream about a lot of different experiences, and that's good. I'm not pulling that away from you. But know that fantasy isn't here to structure anything. Fantasy is just here to enjoy. So that you can actually be the leader of your own progress. Be the leader of your own progress. I know this is a collective channel, and we're going to get into that. So there's a fuel here for contraction or a pressure to get a new experience. So anybody that shows up with a defined root center and they have the 41 in that defined root center, they have a fuel for contraction. They have that fuel that's sitting there. And then they can pressurize other people into a new experience. Now, the opposite can happen. You can have a totally undefined root center with just a hanging 41, which is the same here. And you're also still going to feel that pressure to get a new experience. But those defined root centers show up, that drive and stamina shows up, that fuel shows up, and then all of a sudden there's a pressure for a new experience. And then you get to decide through discernment, through the strategy, how we interact, and the inner authority, okay, is this correct for me or not? Is this new experience correct for me or not? That's what that whole discernment process is. Again, remember we're in the fourth quarter of mutation. We're going to chat about that as we walk through. So 41, desires, fantasy, hunger. We're going to walk through this. Reasonableness. So reasonableness is the appropriate delegation of responsibility. Okay, let me just read this to you. Desire that is reasonable moves up and is then reflected on. Desires that are unreasonable creates explosive emotions. Okay, so the 41, again, we're moving up through the solar plex, or the emotional intelligence. This is the emotions, right? This is the seat of the emotions. And when our desires are collective, when our mind is trying to pigeonhole us into a collective desire, it is unreasonable, because there's been a complete disregard for the strategy and authority when the mind is trying to do that. Now, did you grasp that? Reasonableness is, hey, I have made a decision based off of discernment, based off of my uniqueness, based off of what is correct for me. And the hunger that I am going to then fill through progress is based off of me, not based off of a collective desire. So there has to be this reasonableness in order for that progress to happen without emotional explosion. Caution, humanism tempered by pragmatism. A conservative nature that does not risk its own security in aiding others. Now you can look at that and go, oh, this says that I can't help people. No, what this says is that you need to discern the desire. There is a collective conditioning program happening, as well as the conscious evolution instructions. There has to be a duality. So collectively, you can get caught up in that. We all can. Having this outside of self valuation system. Oh, I have more than you. I have this, I have that. Oh, somebody's on a yacht in the Caribbean. Oh, I want to do that. So then you try to, hone in your mind and then force your physical body through a pinhole. And the emotions get just inundated. So it's saying, let's be cautious here. Let's be reasonable and let's have some caution. Let's drop into self and know, is this correct for me or not? Efficiency. So in times of decrease, selfishness is justified. Material ambition and the discipline to go it alone. So the trial and error piece here, the whole point of the trial and error piece is saying, listen, walk your own path. Walk your own path. Experience yourself in your own desires. Then we have correction. Correction is successful adaptation to limitation. So we have limitation thrown in here. So survival of the fittest and its eventual flourishing. Breaking loose of the collective desires so that you can flourish, so that your experience brings you to progress. So then authorization. This again, fifth line. Remember, you guys, fifth line is the highest expression. So the external recognition of one's potential despite limitations. So the value of energy when properly channeled. The important piece here is the external recognition of one's potential despite limitations. You've broke through the collective handcuffs. And you've authorized yourself to stand in your own desires. And then I love this, the 41.6, contagion. What's it pointing to? The 30. What's the 30? Contagion. I've done a video about that. I can pop it up here so that you can see it. The law that maximization of potential not only ends decrease, but inevitably such transcendence benefits others. This is massive, okay? This little sentence is ginormous. So the maximization of the potential of form. The father whose success will benefit his children, okay? This whole thing is saying to you, first, you need to be reasonable. You need to drop into your own discernment process and get out of the collective idea as to what success, what desires are right for you. So that you can walk through those desires and fantasies and hunger and actually transcend and benefit others by breaking loose of the collective stronghold and standing in your individuality. Now, everything in the human design system is asking you to please drop into your own uniqueness. Drop into your own uniqueness. That start codon is saying that exact same thing. Don't buy into the collective desires because there is no progress there. But individually, dropping into that hunger and fantasy of your own, not a collective, will bring you to progress, and eventually that benefits everybody. Now I'm going to share with you the beauty of this evolutionary instruction program. So, mybodygraph.com has come such a, like, it's massive how beautiful this program really is. So here we are today. And I am going to hone in on the 61, the 60, and the 41, because these two gates prior to the 41 are so damn important. So from the first gate here in the quarter to the 19th gate, this is all about the quarter of mutation. And Pluto has been in the 61st gate for a very, very long time. Okay? And it's going to continue. I think it's 588 days or something like that, that Pluto stays in a gate. Inner truth. Inner truth. What is your inner truth? What is your inner truth that you can drop into? Pluto kind of comes along as it's the slowest planet, it's the farthest out planet, whether you want to call it a planet or not, whatever, I call it a planet. And it kind of like wipes clean all the old garbage that's there to get us to start fresh again. So what is your inner truth? The inner truth provides you with your truth and transformation. That's what Pluto is saying. Now is the time for 588 days where we can absolutely look at our own inner truth. Okay? And come to our own transformation through that. But if you notice, Jupiter is also here. And Jupiter is our personal laws and our personal protection. So Pluto's coming along, kind of scrubbing away at this, cleaning this up. And Jupiter pops in and says, hey, we can have some fresh, new personal laws and personal protection. What does that look like? Inner truth. These two planets are saying to you, be connected. Be connected to your higher source. Allow for this instruction manual to be the guide to your movie. It's just a guide. It's just showing you the movie. Your natal chart, your human design body graph, that is the how are you going to navigate in the what. I can provide you with what all day long. But if the mind grabs onto this and runs amok, there's never any discernment. So how can you discern your own inner truth? Strategy and authority. The strategy is how do you interact? And the inner authority will bring you to your own inner truth. Because we want the mind to be uncluttered, you guys. Because the mind is your decoder. The mind will decode your experiences and say, hey, satisfaction, frustration is what the physical body is the signposts. But it also decodes the consciousness stream. And when the mind is clear, here's what I'm going to throw at you. This might be a little deep for you. There's these beautiful scalar waves that happen. And scalar waves happen when the right and the left hemispheres of the brain interact together and allow for the pineal gland to be the conscious connection. Scalar waves. If you don't know about it, look it up. There's lots of machines that have been built to help the scalar waves and help people, come back to that. We are just frequency, and our minds decode the frequency. So if we can allow for the left and the right hemispheres to come together and harmonize, then the pineal gland can be the full connection. But what is your inner truth in all of this? That's what the program is asking you. Now let's pop over a little bit. So we have the 60. The 60 is limitation. Again, here we are down in the root center. So look at this pressure sandwich that we've been in, okay? So the root center, this limitation, we're all feeling this mutative stress. We're all feeling it. There's massive mutation happening, you guys. Good or bad. However you want to look at this, I don't know. I'm not going to pull you either way. My filters go from, and I've said this before, corruption and justice. So I have both sides of the scale working through my physical body. So the 60, this limitation, this mutative, innovative energy that's taking the old and bringing in the new. And Mars, which is a beautiful, beautiful planet of maturing energy, is there. So it's saying, okay, how can you mature in your inner truth at this moment? How can you mature in your inner truth? And then Saturn has been playing around in this 61 and 60, and I'm gonna show you how Saturn is bouncing back and forth continuously here for a very long time. So Saturn was just, in the 61st gate, honing in and helping you with that inner truth. Saturn is discipline. Be disciplined. Practice, be disciplined, hone in on your uniqueness. That's why I do these videos every week. That's why the self-mastery movement is so darn important at this moment. And the 60, Saturn's sitting in the 60 here for a while, and it's also saying, listen, there is massive mutation happening. Where's your inner truth? Now look at Saturn pops back in to the 61st gate in August. So it's dancing back and forth. Inner truth, mutation, inner truth. Discipline, you guys, discipline. 2020 is the most important for us to take a look at this energy and go, listen, I need to know my own inner truth in this mutation. Pluto is going to pop into the 60th gate in 2021. We have a while. While Pluto is there supporting us, empowering us. The individual circuitry is about empowerment. Empowering us to get to our inner truth. I know I'm repeating myself continuously. It's so damn important, you guys. And I'm going to get to why this is important for the 41st gate. So now Mars, April 2nd, moves into the 41st gate. Just as a taster. What are your new desires now that the 61 and the 60 have been activated so much through Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto and Mars? What are your desires? And are they your desires? Or have you bought into a collective desire? Now let's move ahead a little bit here. I want to move ahead with Saturn. So like I said, Saturn was 60, 61, 60, 61. Now look at this. Again, it pops back in to the 60. It's in and out, in and out, in and out, moving. Pluto is still in the 61. And Saturn in the 61. But now we're moving. Watch this. Watch as we move. Everything is going to get closer and closer and closer to the 41. But for a very long time, the 60 and the 61 are being played with. Okay? Then Saturn moves over to the 41. Now, here's where the real transformation, the real mutative energy in this quarter is this. Saturn is saying, be disciplined on your desires. January 3rd, 2021. We have a whole year, you guys. 2020 is filled with the 61 and the 60. And then we move over to this 41st energy. And Jupiter saying to us, okay, here we go. Here we go. Now that we have been playing around in that 60 and 61, what are your personal laws around desire? We have to get real, you guys. Because what was happening cannot be sustained, and that's obvious. So did you notice how, again, Pluto is in that 61 for a very long time? For a very long time. So I wanted to bring that to your attention so that everybody can understand this is a pivotal time. This is a super pivotal time for us to understand our conscious connection with the instruction manual. Your blueprint, your map is in your chart. And then you get to be fully connected to the transit program and understand what the movie is and then discern, is that correct for me or not? What is your inner truth and what is your own individual mutation that is taking place at this moment? Are you honoring it? We have all been placed into this interesting time. And it is about going inward. It's about going inward. Humanity, 15th gate, humanity. This is our direction forward in the movie. And that direction forward is indicating, listen, there is diversity on this planet, and we get to love humanity. We get to love it. And what kind of behavior is happening? Are we coming together as a community? Are we, tearing ourselves apart? Are we tearing humanity apart? Or are we actually coming together? How do we come together? By absolutely standing in our own individuality and empowering ourselves so that we can all come to a place of honoring the diversity of humanity. Right now, we're in the right angle cross of tension. Who's controlling what? Do you feel powerless? Are you feeling powerless? Most of the planet is. Most of the human beings on this planet are feeling absolutely powerless. There's tons of tension right now. Tons. It's built into the program, you guys. And the tension is, pay attention to your physical body. Go into your inner truth. Find your depth. Find your depth. Incommunicado. Write this incommunicado that it is sitting in today. This is a trial and error process today. Incommunicado. Go silent. Find your depth inside that inner truth, inside that mutative energy, so that the diversity on this planet can be honored as we move forward. And, the moon that flies around really quickly is also in diversity for the moment. Where is the doubt being communicated? In your mind, are you doubting some things? Well, walk down that path and do some investigating. The fourth line is all about having a solid foundation for, being able to walk out into your network. So the movie is saying, hey, there's some doubts flying around here. Play around with that. And how can you contribute? Venus is all about, values and relating. And in astrological lingo, it's about love. So how are you contributing to the love or the hatred on this planet? And again, we've talked so much about the 60 and the 61. Like, look at this, you guys. It is so powerful what the program shows us. Nourishment. We are being stripped clean of what we believe to be how we are nourished. Our resources are literally being stripped from us. So how can you go in and have self-care through that individuality and that inner knowing? And to be able to do this gracefully. Still 13 months of this grace. Openness or not. And right now, this is almost being taken away. Even if you wanted to connect with your tribe, with your family, no, got to stay at home. So watch all of these. Pay attention to different aspects. So again, corruption. Take a look, if you're on the news, if you're on CNN, if you're on all of these media networks, what are they palpating into your living room, into your house? Fear, nervousness, and anxiety. Those energetics and those frequencies within your body will break down your body. It will break down your microbiome of your skin. It will break down the or the probiotics and prebiotics of your gut. It will put you into a state of mental distress. And again, there's a ton of mental pressure here saying you have to go within. And if you don't, the fear and the anxiety are going to take hold. We are just frequency-based. We are frequency-based beings. And when the frequency plays around with our mental construct, our mind is so damn powerful, it can create whatever it wants to in the body. So inner truth, hey, you are the technology. Your physical body knows exactly what to do at all times, but you need to empower it. We all need to empower it. Foods, whole foods, healthy foods, nothing out of a box, nothing out of a can, nothing that's been processed. You know, if you can, do organic. Let your technology keep you healthy and safe while you drop into your own inner truth. But if the fear and the anxiety and the nervousness have you grasped in a frequency of that, the 55 has a massive amount of eating disorders. So the spirit can be stifled through incorrect intake of food. But in order to suppress the emotions, people want to go for stuff that has weight in it. So processed food that can weigh down those emotions. I want you to understand that you are here to ride those emotions. If we are stifling them down, we can't decipher and be able to absolutely discern our own spirit in this. So this is a really long video. Thank you if you hung out this whole time and listened to it. Here's one thing that I do. I don't know. I use Google Chrome, and I have a video there through the Chrome store. There you can speed up videos. So as someone who is a manifesting generator, pure manifesting generator, express builder, I speed things up. So if that's what you need to do, then go find that video speeder upper thingy. It's I think it's called video speed. But if you want to come to self-mastery, if you want to be able to see this movie through your own filters, I am providing it to you from my filter. If you want to see this movie through your own filter, I would highly recommend, moving into self-mastery so that you can master your natal chart, so that you can master your body graph, so that you can recognize that the fear, the anxiety, and the nervousness are not here to confine you. They are here to give you signposts of the awareness. All right. Thank you very much for your time. Please go forth and live your God code. All right. Thanks.